I joined a bunch of game jams since my first in 2019, and since then you should expect a big evolution, but I didn't have any consistency. And that made me feel like I was learning game dev from scratch every single time, and that the games were prototypes and not actual games. My biggest flaw was to not make games besides when the jam was taking place, so I didn't practice. And that's why I'll go through all my jam games and rebuild them from scratch, giving time to time and learning at every step. The first game we'll work on is called OverLap, and it's a racing game where you race yourself. Every lap you finish spawns a clone that will do all the moves of your previous laps, and that way, every time you slow down or you crash, you are actually creating an obstacle for your future self. And I'd like, before anything else, show these faces over here. They are responsible for creating all the amazing assets you'll see in the game and in this video. Both during and after the jam, the first thing we did was the car and car movements. And I used this tutorial over here to do it. Quite nice stuff. Go there, give it a shout out. And with the stacking sprites on top, we had a car working. So we added a tile set, a little camera, but the camera had some issues. If you were reversed, you could go off screen and you could sometimes not see what was coming ahead of you. So I added some camera behavior. So here we have the camera script. And by the way, all the scripts will be available on GitHub. You can check it on the description. First things first, we define 3 positions for the camera. One for when it's ahead, centered, and reversed. And where the center of the camera, where the focus of the camera is, and how wide it is. We'll define when each position should be applied. So we check the direction the player is moving, if backwards, reversed. If not, we'll check, are you fast? If so, the camera goes ahead, and if not, the camera focuses on the player. But that only defines the camera goal. We'll slide towards this goal smoothly, and that's what we are doing over here. Let's do an experiment. Put your finger in the middle of the screen. I made it, okay? You see your finger is on top of the car unless I get speed. And when I get some speed, the camera goes to what's in front of me. And as soon as I crash or bump, the camera goes back to where I need to see. In that way, we now had a car, a track, and a big problem. We were noticing big lag spikes. Fuck. And those lag spikes were familiar. We've seen those in the version published for the jam. But there wasn't so many elements on the screen. We found that the culprit was actually the tile map. Godot tries to load every single tile that is on screen, but only those. The screen is quite big, there's a lot of tiles in it, and we move fast. So Godot was having a hard time hiding and showing the tiles dynamically. I asked ChatGPT if it was possible to change the tile map to an image, and it showed me that not only it was possible, but gave me the script to do it. I copied and pasted, it broke the game. If I asked ChatGPT, he'd probably have the solution, but I didn't know any of those methods. I didn't know what I was doing, and I fooled myself in the past by using AI code I didn't understand and then becoming a hostage of it. With that decided, I rebuilt it, and let me show you what I came up with. Here we have the tile map script. What does it do? At first, if we are on the game and not in the editor, create a node that will substitute the tile map. Once we have done that, we'll check how much of the tile map is being used, and then creating a new screen to have this size. We'll place the tile map inside of it, wait for it to load, and then take a screenshot. Then we'll add that to a sprite, add that sprite to the new node, and kill the old tile map free. That way we have all the details in it, all the resolution, but in a static image that is always loaded. We'll do something similar for the collisions. On the collisions, we have to investigate tile by tile to see if they have any collisions, and if so, we'll get those points and add those to a new static body. And this static body will have all the collisions in single collision nodes, but it will also be a single static body always loaded without the need to the dynamic tile map. Having that done was a big relief, not only because it was haunting me since the game jam, but also because I did it by myself. I use AI every day. I'm all in for learning with AI, but it cannot make your brain rot. Make sure you use AI to understand the code, not to produce code you don't understand. The only missing piece for the fundamentals of this game is the loop, the clone. So our only job is to track where the player is at every second. Let's suppose I'm going to the right and here's my first position, and a second has passed, I'm here, a second has passed, I'm here, and you see I'm speeding up. But we don't have to track speed. We don't have to track positions. Because when we spawn a clone, we only have to move to the next point in 1 second. Move to the next point in 1 second. Move to the next point in 1 second. We use the second in the example just to be simpler, but we can have many updates per second and you define it here. We'll still call it a second though, just to be easier to comprehend. We have a counter over here that will count a second. Since we are doing more than 10 in a second, I prefer to use a function than a timer. I have more precision in it. So every time the second ticks, we add the player position to a curve. And when the ghost spawns, its calculation is pretty simple. It sees how far it is from the next point, so how fast must it move to reach the next point in a second. Except we'll divide that by how many updates you have per second, and here you have how much you have to move. And if you repeat that by every frame, you have a nice clone that will do exactly as you do. You see how it follows almost perfectly both movement and speed. One thing I love about it is how fun can it be just like be walking around with some clones and seeing the dumb things they do because you did them. So I must say I underestimated how much time it takes to make a 10-minute video and how much can you fit into one. There's a lot more I wish to show you, but I won't make it today. I guess we'll split it to have multiple videos because I feel like shortening anything of what I just said would take value away from it. And one last thing, if you play Minecraft you'd like to know about Server Heaven. It's a place for you to have your player or server profile and you can find each other by trusted reputation and public records. It's out on beta, more on that on the description. I think it wraps it up. It was a lot, it was a nice experience to do this video. I wish to do that more, so I hope you liked what you see. Say your comments in the description and I'll answer any of those. Leave a like, subscribe, that's things people on the internet say. Anyway, have a nice one, take care of yourself, take a shower, be happy. I wish you the best.